Hey everyone, this video is all about making assist hooks at home without the help of a wise and minimum tools possible. We start with a piece of braided line, folded from the middle. We then place both the tag ends on the back of the shank of the hook. Now for the next step, we'll be wrapping our main line around the shank and the assist cord, binding both of them together. This could be anything ranging from dental floss to fine jigging line around PE 0.4, 0.6 as well works. Just keep in mind that the line is not very thick and it has a very low diameter. So all you need to do is give it a couple of wraps around till you get it nice and tight stuck to the shank. You keep repeating, going around, wrapping them and casually straightening the assist cord, just to make sure that it stays in place right behind the shank. It shouldn't be towards the hook side but on the back side of the shank. I'll just speed it up a little bit over here. Quick heads up while this goes on, the hook size is determined by the jig you'll be using it for. So I suggest that before you start working on your hooks, you have a look at your jig, find out what length do you want it to be at, and to determine the size of the hook, it just has to, the distance, the gap between the shank and the hook point has to be slightly wider than the width of your jig. Now to finish it off after the wraps, we'll just create a small loop, twist it around twice and put it through the braid line and just pull it down. So this creates a tiny little knot. Just for an extra safety, you could do it twice or thrice maybe. Every time with a double or a single twist, a loop, single or double twist, and just tighten it all the way back. So now it's nicely locked tightly in a place. Cut off the main line. Give it a few gentle pulls. Check if there's any excess line hanging out. Trim it out. Now you cut off your assist cord, the excess tag ends. Now do not cut it all the way close to the knot. Leave a little bit out to be burned by a lighter. Now what many people do is they burn it, they stick it right into the flame. You're not supposed to stick it right into the flame. Just get it close enough to allow the heat to make a mushroom kind of a shape on top of the tag end. This is going to help you in case the line does slip through. To finish it off, I'm using UHU glue. I know a lot of people use quick adhesive, but I use the UHU since it has a very slimy texture and it has a acrylic kind of a finish when it dries off, and the best part is that it is waterproof, so it actually it has a small reflection in the water as well. So you just go with an even distribution around the knot, around the wrap, evenly put it, tap a little bit, spread it all around. Now for a final check, just give it a gentle pull and check whether the line is stiffly wrapped to the shank. For this next one, we'll be doing a double assist. We could use the same technique as we used in the one earlier, but this time we'll be doing it with a different technique. I'll be using a knot to connect the braid to the hook. So here you see me feeding the braid in the same way I did the previous one. You go on top of the back side of the shank, you bring out excess line, create a small loop, pinch it down with your fingers, and now as you see, you bring the tag end from under the shank and through the loop. So it's going to wrap the tag end around the shank and the main braid. You could either do once or twice, or in some people like to go thrice. I prefer doing it 2 wraps. That's more than enough. So that's under and through the loop. Grab the tag end, and now right now you're not supposed to pull it all together. You're supposed to unwrap the wraps that you initially created, so it's kind of going to unravel itself It's almost like a risotto knot. If you haven't seen a risotto knot, you could watch my FG knot video, you'll find it over there. Now once that is done, it just makes it very neat and tidy. The knot looks really neat. Give it a few gentle pulls. Ensure the line is tightly tied. Now to get the other hook connected, we first need to know the length of the desired assist hook. For a double assist, you need to check if you want a high, low, or an equal balanced the length on both ends. However you would like it, you just have a rough idea in your mind, know how much line is needed, and to calculate the exact positioning of the hook, you could do the following. You'll see me here that I'll mark the position where I want the assist hook to be connected and the excess tag line that I need for the wraps to be done. So that's me checking. That's around 2 inches from the other end coming out. Now you repeat the whole same process. Now once you're done with the twin hook, just give a double check to the knot strength, a few gentle pulls, check everything is neat and tidy, try and see the level, and make sure when you tie them to the split ring or the solid ring, you have the hooks either crisscrossing facing opposite directions or facing each other. You never have them both facing the same direction unless you're going for a high-low rig. The same thing, we'll cut off the excess tag line, and for this I'll just keep it aside right now. I'm not attaching this to a split ring or a solid ring. I'll just keep it aside as it is, and I'll try and adjust this as per my preferences and the type of jigs I'll be playing. Now a quick advice, instead of having a pair of assist hooks for all the jigs that you own, you could just have a variety of assist hooks kept in a box and then keep switching between jigs the way however you like it. For the final variation, we'll be doing a frilled assist hook. You could do them as a twin assist or a single, it works both ways. Everything is going to be pretty much the same. The only new thing with this assist is that we'll be adding frills to it. So you start off with making a base layer, just a few wraps around the shank. Now we take the cutout pieces from a frill tying. I've gone with 4 strands of white and 8 strands of blue. It's pretty much however you like it, you know, whatever colors you feel are right or good for the waters that you fish in. Now we'll go ahead, place the frills on top of the back side of the shank, level it all out perfectly, and start working our wraps. Initially it might look untidy, but that's just because the frills are going to stick out to different directions due to the pressure being applied. But once you start working towards the top of the shank, everything is going to go under the wraps. So you just keep going around gently and see how the frills just disappear. They all get pushed or pressed underneath the wraps. In case you do still have some tiny tag ends sticking out, you could just go ahead and trim them off. We're going to repeat literally everything that we did earlier. We'll do the same loop and twist and go through the braid, create a knot, hold it down together, hold everything in place, bring in our braid line, make some wraps, stick the connect the braid line to the assist hook. Final wraps going on over here. Now if you do not want your assist to be hanging loose or moving around freely, There's a small trick you could use to stiffen the line up a little bit more. Once you're done tying the assist cord to the hook, all you do is twist the line and keep twisting it till you reach your desired level of stiffness. Once you get to that point, you could just use super glue to quickly stick it all together, and that holds it in place. Now once you're done, this is what the final finished hooks would look like. I hope you found this video useful. If you did so, please make sure to leave a like and a comment. Do subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos to come in future. Thank you.